If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson, co-owner and founder of Elite Online Publishing, along with my other co-founder and owner, Jenn Foster. Hey, Jenn.
Hey guys, how's it going today?
So we are going to talk about publishing, of course. We have a fabulous author with us today. We have Jacki Semerau Tait with us. She has written a children's book. She's been in several compilation books. So we're going to dive into what is it like to be in a compilation book versus having your own book, because she has both, and just go down her publishing journey. So Jacki, thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the first time you thought about writing a book or why you wanted to write a book.
You know, I actually grew up thinking I would be an author. And when I was a little girl in school, we had a young authors. Do you guys know about that? The young authors. So anyway, I was part of that and won some awards and that type of thing. And I took a course, I think it was the summer between 6th and 7th grade, or maybe 5th and 6th grade, took an author course for kids in the summer. My mom kind of plugged me in. So my parents were really supportive of that journey. But then, you know, puberty and teenage years and all the things that kind of happen and can take you off track. And you forget a little bit about all of that. And so it really was something that I reignited when I was a young adult. And so I wrote my children's book. That was the first book that I wrote. And, you know, and then I tried to get it published through traditional authors and then decided to go the self-publishing route. But yeah, so that was kind of, I mean, I guess I always knew I was going to write. I didn't know what, but I knew I would.
That's great. And then did someone approach you to do a compilation book? How did your compilation book journey start?
So good question. I was in a mentorship program with Les Brown, who's one of the premier motivational speakers out there. And so there was a group of us, about 40 people that were coaching and mentoring with him. And it was through that I was able to meet a few different people. I did actually write my first compilation book was with Les Brown. And so that was such an amazing experience that when I was approached to do the couple other ones, I was all in. I thought it was a great experience.
That's great. And a compilation book is good. My very first book I did was a compilation book as well with Dan Kennedy, the marketing guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having that chapter kind of gets catapulted me anyway to have my own books. So I think that you choosing to self-publish was a good move because you have control of your author page, where some traditional publishers don't even have you do an author page. So
Interesting. Yeah, no, it was a really good experience. I was glad that I had my own book first, because I had a little bit of the knowledge of what went, even though it was a children's book. So that's different, but still knowing the process and kind of everything that went involved or that gets involved with it. Yeah. And I think a compilation book is a really great way, like you said, to dip your toe into authorship if it's not something you have really embraced or wrapped your mind around. For me, the first one I did was an opportunity to be published with Les Brown. And to me, that was oh, wow, I get to be, you know, I mean, being mentored by him and getting a personal relationship with Les was amazing. And so being able to say, listen, this is now like in writing forever, that's a pretty cool experience. But then when you understand that you're able to have this full, rich book that can help a lot of people, and yet you didn't have to put in all of the full, rich time that goes involved with putting together your own book. I found that to be really great. To your point, though, I do think it's important, you know, to take that next step and do your own book if you haven't already, but it is a great way to get started.
Yeah. And how do you think of being, especially with being associated with Les Brown, I imagine that helped your credibility. which is another great way to do it because you're leveraging somebody else's marketplace by doing that. How do you think having a book has helped your business? And have you used any of your books to help your business?
I have. I think it's been a great thing in terms of, I mean, I've had opportunities to speak at some large events and things like that. And certainly when they see that you shared a stage with Les Brown and you've written a book with Les Brown, that definitely helps. But I also have found that I think there's just something about putting your words in writing and sharing your story. And it's truly, I mean, to be real and frank and transparent with you, it's the very thing that terrified me has turned into the very blessing, is that my words are out there forever and ever and into eternity, and you can't go back and change them. And so there's this like moment that's stuck in time. And so to me, that was always the fear of becoming a published author and sharing a nonfiction story. Children's book, a little different. But now having it out there and being able to say, yeah, listen, this is something I've done. It is something I've put myself out there and shared my story. I think there's a lot of people who want to work with you even more, whether it's with, I have a coaching business. So I find that I tend to attract more coaching clients because of that experience.
Yeah, I think the credibility factor, as well as you just having the books and being able to say, I have an author page when someone's researching you. Is Jacki a good realtor? I mean, Google her name. Oh my gosh, she's an author? What? 3 books? Wait, 4 books? Right? So that credibility factor really does it for you.
Yeah, it's been a big help in a lot of ways.
For sure. So tell us, what were some of the pitfalls, like challenges you had when you were self-publishing and a compilation book? So like a two-sided question, because there are, compilation books can be complicated too, especially if you're a project manager, but.
Yeah, no, I just jumped on board and was the author or one of the authors.
Good.
I did.
So that one's smooth. So tell us any challenges, like things that went right for you, things that were challenging because it was new, you'd never done it before.
It was really interesting. I mean, if I've actually thought about republishing my children's book again, because now I know after doing the compilation books, you get a little peek into the publishing world a little bit better. But being a self-published author and having no experience and also no real support team, I think that's a struggle in and of itself. So what I did do right, I believe, is that I had a team of people who I didn't hire. They were just people in my family and in my friend network who do have some knowledge, really good knowledge on, English and proper grammar and things like that, which you can get away with a little bit not being so polished when you do a children's book. But so I had a lot of people helping me edit some different iterations. I mean, definitely what came out was run through the mill several times and changed greatly to make the most sense. But the beauty that I found in doing a children's book self-published is that I hired my own illustrator. And so I did that through what is now called Upwork. Back then it was called Elance. And I put out a call. So basically, if you can use a site like that where you put out a call to say, hey, this is my project, here's what I need. And I had illustrators from literally all over the world who submitted of their version of who Baby Robbie and Mama Robin were. And those are the 2 main characters in this book. And what was really great about that is I was able to take my time because, again, I'm not on a deadline. So I was able to take my time and look. And honestly, I had over 20 people who submitted before the one came in. And I went, that's my character. Because I had the vision. I just, and I went, this is my character. And I just love what he did with Mama Robin and Baby Robin. And he was based out of, I want to say Costa Rica, if I'm not mistaken. So, kind of incredible.
Yeah, I love that the internet can put us in the world. You're everywhere. Well, let's dive in a little bit to the compilation book more. Now, I know I don't know how many authors were there total in in the compilation books?
I think the one with the most authors was 36 of us.
Okay. So I want to help and teach you a little bit and some of our listeners, because you asked the question before, how you can get your compilation books and your children's book all on the same author's page, because now you're married and so you have another name. So there's a couple of things you can do with your author page. First of all, you have to own your author page. So you have to have the email and the login information to get to Author Central. So if you're not self-published, or if you don't have control of your own author page, then it's going to be really difficult. You have to contact your publisher. But because, Jacki, you are self-published, then if you have that login information, then you can go and add books to your Author Central page. And you can add, even though it says Tait on the end and doesn't have the other, you can edit that name. All you have to do is, if it doesn't let you edit it in real time, you can just email Amazon through the Contact Us button, which is at the very bottom of the page, really small, so that it's hard to see. The Contact Us button, and that you can send an email, or sometimes they allow you to have a phone call, but they end up calling you. So you just say, call me now, and they already have your phone number in there because you put it in when you set up your account. And then they call you, and then they'll help you get the name changed. But you can also send a few emails going back and forth to get it changed. The other thing, though, to know is on this compilation books, it's great because you have your name on the book, but sometimes your name isn't associated with the book on Amazon, because Amazon only lets ebooks have 10 names associated with that book. So if there's 35 authors, only 10 actually get to be inputted in when you publish the book on Amazon. And then if you're on a phone, only 3 show up. So because there's just not enough room for them to put all 10. And then with a paperback, you can also have 10 authors, but only 5 show up on the phone. So it's very interesting. So if you're on a tablet or a phone, it'll look like there's only 3 that you can click on, even though there is a lot more authors than that, right? So when you're doing a compilation book, I know that there's some people who say, well, if you pay more, then you can have your name on Amazon, like have your name listed as one of the names. I don't know if that's what was the case with yours, but definitely you want to be able to claim the book. So you want and sometimes it's also, if you can just be one of the first ones to claim it, then you get it in there. So
see, that's the downside when you're really busy and not paying a lot of attention then.
Yeah, you need that assistant. It's when you say you have that team, or you have a publisher or someone that's going to do that for you to make sure that we do that for our authors. Like when they're publishing any book, if they have other books out, we make sure we claim it in the process so that they're doing it. And then asking about, maybe relaunching or doing something with your children's book, I would say you should put your children's book as a hardback, right? And then I would also do it as an audio book, because kids can listen to it and look at it at the same time, and then even as an ebook, because they could listen to it and look at it on their iPad.
Wow, that's a great idea. I never thought of doing an audiobook for a children's book, but what a great idea.
Yeah. And so it's just a great way, think about having kids. I mean, like you say, you're an empty nester, but think about now you've got, a 5-year-old in the back of the car, and he's got his iPad. He can be looking at the children's book and listening to it at the same time, or just listening to it. He could be in a stroller and just listening to the audio book. So I always say different audiences need different formats. And with little kids, they can combine a couple of the formats together. And so it just gives you more ways to get revenue and to reach your audience. So that's what would be my suggestion for your children's book.
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to take you up on that suggestion for sure.
Yeah, definitely do that. And then, of course, what people forget to do is to keep posting about their book. I did take a look at your social media. So make sure you're constantly having some kind of rotation of your books in there, because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I did my book 2 years ago, and they're not talking about it anymore, but it's always still relevant. It's an asset you have. It's no different than you bought a house, right? Someone sold a house, you market the house, and then 3 years later, someone's selling it again. The house is still valid. It's still the same asset, right? It's still beautiful. You're telling them, listen, we're going to paint the backyard or paint the house. We're going to fluff it up. And then we need to tell people how great this house is. So it's an asset that you have for always, and always can use it. So always remember to promote your book.
Yes. I was going to ask you, Jacki, did you do a book signing for any of your books?
No.
So there's another thing you can do. I have a couple tips for all those who have collaboration books. first of all, of course, have a book signing. If they aren't having one for the whole book, you can just have one, especially if you know some of the other authors, you could have one with just 3 authors or 2 authors, or just have one yourself. But the other cool thing that I was told when I did my compilation book, which I think is a really cool thing to do, is take just your chapter and self-publish it as an ebook, and for 99 cents. Because yeah, it's only your chapter, it's not that long, but hey, might as well, right? Why not? Why
Right.
not get a Kindle book? Or put it up on your website for free, or put it up on your website through Gumroad for $1. Because somebody might just want to look at your chapter. They might not want to buy the whole book. If you have rights to do that, make sure you have the right to do that. Some of the collaboration books, whoever's published it, they might have the right. And so you want to make sure you have the rights to your chapter. So don't do it without knowing if you have the rights.
Well, that's interesting because having done 3 different compilation books and telling kind of 3 different stories from my life, would it be a good idea to kind of take those 3, rework them a little bit so that it's more, about the whole story and publish that as an ebook?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Or even make it a mini book, a mini ebook, but then even add more story to it and make it a full book, right?
And then
I like that.
the power of that, if you publish that, I strongly suggest, I love that idea, Jen. I would go ahead and publish that so it is on Amazon, because then it populates again for the credibility. And then it's a small short read, and think about how you can use that as a marketing tool. So you're not mixed in with all these other people. And now you send that to people that you want to list their homes. They want to get to know you, because it's hard to go and tell every single person your $4 story. But if you give them a book, they're not going to throw it away. I mean, I get real estate stuff all the time, the flyers, I throw it away. Half the time I don't even look at them, trash. But if you do a nice book that is, it can still be short, it's got a perceived value that is not going to hit the trash bin. So they're going to hold on to that. And it's a great leave behind. You could even pin a page for them or something, and think about giving that out as a giveaway. Could be Christmas gifts to everybody, could be for potential clients in goodie bags. You're always looking for something. And I love Jen's idea as an email link. You can even give a link, like, if you don't want to invest in the paperback copies, let's say it's for, I'm sure you guys are involved in nonprofit organizations and different things like that. You'll say, listen, I'm going to give everybody a downloadable version of my quick ebook for free.
I love that.
Link, and they can share it with everybody who's coming to the event.
What a great idea.
To repurpose and use a book. And you have a good marketing tagline for it too, because you can say, grab my $4 story for $1.
Yeah.
I love that. I wanted to do, and again, if you guys haven't figured out, I got a ton of irons in my fire, but I always thought it would be like the coolest thing to do a $4 course, to give, take people through I have 7 lessons. I do this as a keynote speech, but I have 7 lessons that I learned through my $4 story that I share with others to help them find the higher purpose in the midst of undesirable circumstances. And I thought, oh, it'd be so cool if I could turn this into like a mini course and sell it for $4,
Well, the idea is, we always say, like, your book is your course and your course is your book too. So really, you have the information. I was started out as the book, and then the book comes with the course. And with AI, you can almost magically turn it into a course. And then also I would include a workbook.
Oh, I love that.
Then think about even doing that for, you're in with realtors, the $4 real estate course and book thing that you can sell to other real estate companies or real estate brokerages and teach it. You've got a built-in audience for it.
I love it. You ladies have fantastic ideas.
This is what we do all day long.
Well, you're very good at it.
Thank you.
Tell us, Jacki, where people can go to find your books, and what's your website so they can go and click on that as well.
The best place to find me is stepstostrength.com. It's got a link to each of the individual books, as well as, my social media, my YouTube channel, my coaching courses, all the good stuff.
Awesome.
Great.
Terrific. Well, connect with Jacki. And if you're thinking you want to become an author and a bestseller and learn other marketing tips, this is what we do for our authors all the time when you sign up with us. Contact us at eliteonlinepublishing.com and keep writing, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.